Hello, Gabby Turner here. So this is part of a little mini series I'm doing about how the air signs, an overlooked aspect of air signs, is that they have to do with our cognitive functions and how those affect how we interact with other people. But the interaction part of it, I think, is covered a lot, but not necessarily the cognition. So let's talk about it with Aquarius. We talked first about Gemini being the cognitive need to communicate what's going on inside our head with other people and figuring out what's going on inside their heads. This is Gemini. Libra is about cognitive empathy, the willingness to meet someone else halfway and put forth an attempt to understand them, right? And the goal would be to achieve cognitive empathy. Like, okay, I get where you're coming from. Even if I'm not coming from the same place, like, I can see that. The willingness to have that sort of empathy is Libra. And with Aquarius, it's sort of like, Aquarius is seen as so futuristic. That gets talked about a lot with Aquarius. But what does that require? What does futurism require? What's in the news a lot right now is superintelligence, and superintelligence is also Aquarian because it's the cognitive need, actually, to take a large net and harvest a bunch of brains, and like create a stronger brain power through what you pull into that net. Internet. Like artificial intelligence is trained on human data. They're trained on what we've done with our brains and what we've communicated, Gemini, from our brains. It's about our ability and our attempt to have cognitive empathy. They've noticed that, right? You see LLMs use a lot of cognitive empathy. So they're much better at it. They've really optimized the cognitive empathy much more than humans have. But you see what happens, with Aquarius. Like, you take so many brains together, you think you would get the sum of its parts, but actually you get something that's many times the sum of its parts somehow. So that's, I think, an aspect of what does Aquarius mean? Aquarius means, like, it can happen on smaller scales too. Just a group of people putting their heads together because they have a goal and to reach a future goal that is of significance. Remember also that Aquarius we're talking about it as an air sign, but it's also ruled by Saturn, which wants to create things that last. Sure, we want to innovate, but we still want to innovate in a way that will have a lasting, beneficial impact. Let's not be spontaneous about everything. Let's be serious about the innovations that we make. Yeah, but just putting our heads together and like being able to think with much greater strength will give us better outcomes. That's kind of what cognitively I think Aquarius is all about, that cognitive impulse. All right, I hope that was helpful. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.